Quarantine hypertrophy, what is it? Who is it for? It's primarily for our Strength Cult online members and some of my online clients. They've lost gym access. These guys are doing primarily strength-based training systems, barbell strength training, and they need a way to maintain their strength, maintain their muscle, maybe even improve their fitness level during their time away from standard barbell strength training. If you're looking for a program that requires basically no equipment, this is not the program for you. You need to go to wolfbrigade.com and look up the Public Assistance Project. It's in their blog. It's a fantastic program. It's the program that I would run if I had no equipment. This program is for people who can or already do have a minimal amount of equipment. That's things like dumbbells, maybe a chin-up bar, and some floor space. Better yet, if you can get your hands on it, some type of suspension training system like a TRX, gymnast rings. In addition to a pull-up bar, a dip station would be good. And then other things like a bench and a plyo box or something to jump or step on would be good to have. But all you do need is a heavy-ish pair of dumbbells and some floor space. So it is very minimal. However, a little bit of equipment variety will make it more effective. The first question I get lately concerning people who've lost gym access is, will I lose my strength? Am I going to lose all my gains? And the short answer is yes, you will lose quite a bit of that top end strength. Your ability to produce 1 rep maxes, 2 rep maxes is going to be significantly decreased once you resume normal training. However, not all is lost. Like I said, this program and even a program like the Public Assistance Project will allow you to focus on different training goals, which will also help you not only maintain your fitness level, improve your fitness level, form new adaptations that might actually prove to be useful in your transition back to your regular strength-based type of training. But even more important than that for a lot of people is it will help you maintain those behavioral changes you had to make at the onset of your training career, which is the discipline to make it into the gym 3 to 4 times a week and do your program. For a lot of guys, 2, 4, 6 weeks out of the gym can mean a lapse in their training altogether. It could turn into 6 months of not training, even though the gyms reopen in 6 to 8 weeks. It could mean a year off of training. So really good not to overlook that. Like I said, the minimum materials needed for this is a moderate weight pair of dumbbells. I'm about 210, and for me, I'm benching in the 300s, and a pair of dumbbells for me would be anywhere in the 45 to 65 pound range. Lighter guys, less experienced guys, weaker guys could get away with slightly lighter, women as well. It's really important to get your mindset straight before you go into such a vastly different type of training system. If you are a strength-based lifter, if you're a barbell lifter, you just finished your last week at the gym doing heavy squats, heavy presses, heavy deadlifts. You're the kind of guy who can put 315 on the bar and do a set of 10. This is going to be very, very different. And we need to change your perspective a little bit in regards to what is progress, what is intensity, and how are we going to use this to our benefit in order to transition back into our usual training routine. So normally where we get our intensity from our training as barbell lifters is weight on the bar. That's usually what intensity means, is what percentage of our 1 rep max are we using. And for those of us who've been training for a while, we know that we have to keep intensities pretty high in order to push our maximum strength forward. In terms of things like bodybuilding and lower intensity training, we only have one other tool in the toolbox to use, which is volume. It's either intensity or volume. So we have to drive the intensity up. Most of us are used to doing sets of 2, triples, sets of 5, maybe sets of 8. With a much lower intensity program, we're going to be doing things like 5 sets of 10 to 20 reps. And in the beginning, if you're not used to this, you need to be a little bit careful and ease your way into it. On the other side of that, you need to be taking everything pretty much to failure or near failure. If we are not digging deep and going to actual muscle failure, or at least technical failure, we are not going to get a good training stimulus from this. Okay, so especially if you're using very light weights, you need to push to failure in order to gain access to more muscle fibers, those deeper muscle fibers, and get those trained. So in general, you're going to be looking at 50 to 100 reps per exercise. So just as a general rule of thumb, you need to drive the volume up and shoot for about 50 to 100 reps of every exercise that you do in this program. You need to implement things like circuits and supersets in order to drive up the relative intensity. So that might be a new concept for you. Intensity in the strength-based world means a percentage of your 1 rep max. So as a strength lifter, we want to keep intensity high. When that type of intensity is not available, we need to drive up relative intensity, which basically means making lighter things feel heavy. This can be done implementing things like circuits, making yourself very tired. Like a bodybuilder, they don't really train movements, they don't really train performance. They really just train to make the muscles very tired using lots of reps with lighter weights, because you can't lift heavy weight for lots of reps. So focus on workout efficiency, improving your work capacity, your cardiovascular conditioning, and your muscle endurance. And all of these new adaptations are the things I'm talking about, which will help carry you over and maybe even help you perform better with your strength training routines in the future. Now, if you're one of those guys who doesn't have a complete set of dumbbells at home, like a set of 5s to 50s, and you're limited to, say, a 20 or 25 pound set of dumbbells, you are going to need to implement even more weightlifting tricks in terms of using the fullest range of motion for everything, using rest pause sets, myo reps, increasing tempo, lowering very slow, raising the lift, raising the weight really slow. Okay, 3 to 5 seconds of lowering, like with a excuse me, with a bicep curl. Raise it up, get the contraction, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these are all different ways to make a lightweight feel relatively intense. You can implement things like holds and pauses in the terminal phase of the lift, at the bottom of a squat, at the bottom of a push-up, doing a lat raise and holding it out to the side. And of course, short rest periods. If we want to come out of this with an improved conditioning effect, we've got to keep rest periods to a bare minimum. The PDF is available, and what I want you to do is just read through it, look through the example programs, and know that they're just examples. Okay, take what there is to learn from this, which is really just a suggestion, a way of organizing your workout so you don't feel like you're just winging it, so that you feel like you have some purpose and meaning in your unusual workout program. Okay, take these concepts and these principles of organizing your training and make your own program. I don't know what you have, so you need to adjust what you have with the principles in this PDF file, look at the different examples, and then construct your own. And of course, you can always reach out to me, and we can schedule a time to talk. Even if you're not a client, I'm willing to talk to everyone who is trying to get the most out of this, okay? And we will get you going. So there's 3 main examples here. The first example program is called example number 1. This is for people who have a pretty decent amount of home gym equipment. This is the guy that has the dumbbell set. He's got the chin-up bar. He's got the TRX suspension system. He might even have a dip station, a lot of different bands. This one is the most straightforward. It's the most simple. It doesn't need a bunch of tempo reps, a bunch of myo reps. It doesn't need all the holds and pauses or anything like that, because he can rely on heavier weights, doing straight reps to get the work done. Example number 2 is someone who has some equipment at home. They have some dumbbells, maybe they have a chin-up bar and maybe a couple of bands. This program is more for them because they don't have the weight. They have to start implementing lots more holds, pauses, tempo reps, and myo reps, things of that nature. And then example number 3 is for the guy who really barely has just about nothing. Maybe he has one light pair of dumbbells and maybe a resistance band, maybe just a chin-up bar, and that's it. Now there's going to be a lot more variation from, we'll call the parent program, example number 1, and now he's almost completely relying on exercise variation, lots of rest pause sets, cluster sets, and things like this, okay? Now, you can look through all 3 examples and compile things together and make a hybrid of the 3 based on the equipment that you have at home, or based on the equipment that you're willing to go out and buy while you still can, and I suggest you do that. If you don't own a heavy pair of dumbbells, like a set of 50s or something like that, go now and buy it before they're not there anymore. You might need to go to Walmart, you might need to check Craigslist. They're going to be there, and it'll be a good investment. It's not like once this is all over, you'll never be able to use it. You know, things like this will happen again. There might be a time where you just can't leave the house, or maybe you need to travel, and you can put some of this equipment in the van or in the truck and take it with you, and now you have the system to keep you active while you're on the road for a couple of weeks, okay? So don't be afraid to invest in fitness equipment, cheap stuff that you can get off Craigslist or at Walmart, because it's never going to be a waste of money, and you can always sell it later if you're certain you're never going to use it. Give it to your cousin, give it to your nephew, someone else that you're trying to get into fitness. So just before I leave, again, if you have no equipment and you have no motivation or no money to go find equipment, then the best option, in all honesty, is to go and look up the Wolf Brigade Public Assistance Project. It is hands down the best equipment-free, very, very highly organized program that I've ever seen. Greg is the man. He's a genius. He's an awesome guy. They're a good organization. You should support them anyways. The weekly organization of this program, it's a 3-day split. You can always stretch that out and turn it to 4 or 5 days if you want. If you are obsessed with training, you can do that, but I just made it a very simple 3-day split. Monday, you got a circuit with legs, chest, and back, all your big muscle groups, and then you have a superset where you're going to train your triceps and your posterior chain. So that's going to be something like a French press or lying dumbbell tricep extension paired with a kettlebell swing, something like that. All very, very high reps. On Wednesday, your circuit is going to be legs again and shoulders. So 2 big muscle groups, you're going to blast them to hell, and then you're going to do basically like a giant set with biceps, delts, like rear delts, and abs. Okay, hammer curl, rear delt fly, any kind of abs that you want to do. And then Friday, your big circuit is going to be a posterior chain lift, like a dumbbell Romanian deadlift or a banded pull through, and then a chest exercise. You know, if you don't have that much equipment, something like a deficit push-up would be perfect, okay? And then you have a superset at the end of that day comprised of back, triceps, and legs. All right, and when you're combining all these movements, going really high rep, going back to back to back, not taking a lot of rest, implementing pauses, lowering the weight really slow, you're going to leave every workout super pumped and glad that you trained, completely out of breath, sweaty, tired, and you'll probably get through the workouts really fast. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but when you get back into regular training, when the gyms reopen, you're going to be amazed with how little rest you need between your really heavy sets, right? Because your VO2 max will be increased. Your cardiovascular conditioning will be much more improved. And that's one of the things that we, just as virtue, by virtue of strength training, we kind of overlook a little bit when we primarily lift heavy barbells. So if you haven't already, download the program, or you might just be one of the people I've just sent it to already. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram. If you need to talk on the phone, we can set that up and we can get you going in the right direction, okay? I hope this helps, and protect your people and stay healthy.